let's talk about people from a certain political party and their supporters and how they are being hypocrites over the deal that Mark Carney just signed with China. And why it matters is that this guy has a leadership review next weekend. And I'll do a video about that and the tomfoolery that's going on there in another video later today. But this is pertinent because his leadership review is up next week. You're having a massive convention in Calgary to see if Pierre gets to keep his position as leader of the Conservative Party. Like I said, we'll dissect that in another video. But this matters, and I'll explain why. Don't worry, I'll tie it all together. I gotcha. So let's talk about the hypocrisy. In September 2012, Stephen Harper's government signed an agreement with China called FIPA. The official title of FIPA is Canada-China Foreign Investment Promotions and Protections Agreement. It was signed in 2012 and it was ratified in 2014 and it became law in Canada October 1st, 2014. And the reason why this deal in particular was so problematic at the time is because many people thought that it was lopsided. Many scholars and political pundits and people who pay attention to this stuff were deeply troubled by the fact that A, it wasn't passed democratically, it was passed by an order in council, and B, it gave China way more power over Canada than it should have. In fact, we are locked into a 31-year deal with China to protect Chinese assets in Canada and to make sure that their ability to make profits in our country are not limited by the laws that we pass and the regulations that we adopt. And if either of those are seen by China to harm their businesses' ability to make money in our country, they will take us to international court and sue us. Also in that deal, Stephen Harper approved the $15.1 billion acquisition of Canadian-owned Nexen Inc. by the Chinese National Offshore Company CNOO, a state-owned enterprise. Even conservatives themselves were not happy with this at the time. And some of them withdrew their support from the Harper government. And this could have been, some argue that this was like kind of the final nail in his coffin. But the point is that he already did it. And we're still living underneath this agreement today. It was signed in 2012. It was ratified in 2014. The first 15 years, we can't do anything about it. Those 15 years aren't up until 2029. And then after that, for the next 15 or 16 years, it can be removed it can be dissolved, but it needs a year's notice to do so. And now let's talk about why it matters around this guy. He was in cabinet in 2014. He was the Minister of State for Democratic Reform, and he was busy trying to pass his failed legislation, the Fair Elections Act, which ended up having to be removed before it was overturned by the Supreme Court. But he was part of the Queen's Privy Council that pushed through this legislation that he is now and facilitated that relationship with China in 2014. And now he's pretending like he never did any such thing in typical Pierre fashion. And his voters and his supporters have totally either blanked this out or know that this is out there and know that he had a significant role in this and are being hypocritical and choosing to ignore it because their sports team didn't win the last election. But he was definitely a member of the Queen's Privy Council for Canada. He was part of the Privy Council that pushed through the Order in Council to make this deal happen. And he supported it at the time. So, if you are conservative and you are voting in the leadership review next weekend, you need to know that Pierre played a significant role in the adoption of FIPA, which is the first significant trade agreement that Canada ever had with China. And if you didn't bitch about it back then, you shouldn't be bitching about it now. That's it. That's the TikTok. Say no to Christo-fascism and have a day.